Some of them want to be abused. That'd be the French and the Swedes, not me. I don't want to abuse anybody. We're always given that sweet dream idea, though, that you're either abused or you're abusing. Instead of building, instead of empowering, instead of creating, instead of being a progenitor, we're taught that there's winners and there's losers. There's a sum game instead of a non-zero sum game. And that is where we are today. Just let me do this. Let me just do this before I get into World War III and top scientists, historians, researchers, sociologists all agreeing that the world is one of the most dangerous positions it's ever been in. Look at these headlines. Jamie White, Infowars.com, and his article links to mainstream news, something we told you many years ago, that light bulbs with data over power lines with the new government-approved systems communicate with your computers and your smartphones with codes that access your phone and then give it commands, because it's really just the equivalent of a giant super mainframe. And there it is. It's up on Infowars.com, but it's also being reported by mainstream news now. Researchers, hidden signals in TV ads direct smartphones to spy on owners. Ad companies can even track people's porn habits with spy software. Secret messages embedded in television adverts can direct smartphones to spy on their owners using listening software, according to German researchers. There's been a huge growth in Android apps using software that's designed to search for inaudible ultrasonic signals, and their signals contain code which orders apps to begin tracking people's location and what they're watching on television without asking you to even opt in. And the Sun finally reports on it as well. Now, smartphones, digital cable boxes were all designed to do this. This is the big takeover plan. Google, 16 years ago, put out an internal prospectus to stockholders and investors, the fact they were doing this. So when we told you this was going on, it isn't like I had a dream and just imagined it and I'm some guru who saw the future. Like John the Revelator on the Isle of Patmos. I was telling you what they were doing, and now you know. But the new digital light bulbs, data over power lines, they can hack your computer through the power plug. They can hack it through your light bulbs, and they can hack it when your television's on or not on through signals that it transmits to the smartphone and to your computer, and the whole thing was designed to do that. Why, even the precious New York Times is now reporting that. And remember, this, the FBI director came out last year, and he said, oh, better cover up the little camera on your iPad or whatever, because it is watching you. And then a few years ago, Samsung put in its terms and conditions, you turn your TV on, you mount on the wall, you think it's a TV. It's a big computer. And its real business is surveilling you. Imagine the value of that. But see, you were preconditioned. You weren't supposed to know about this 22 years ago when I first started exposing it. You weren't supposed to build an opposition to it or a resistance. You were supposed to be taught it didn't exist. Kooks talk about it. So when it was finally thrown in your face, you just accept it. Or then the argument's, well, what do I have to hide? How many people have you heard about being robbed because they put on Facebook or Twitter when they went out of town where they were going, trying to show off their friends? Oh, look, here's what I had for dinner tonight. Here's where I'm going. Here's what my crap looks like in the toilet. And you do that on Facebook, designed by the globalist, on record. And then thieves go and look at your location because you didn't turn off the location of where you were at. And then they come and they rob your house. See, you didn't have anything to hide. Why didn't you then open your windows and your doors? because mosquitoes that are low-level biological parasites are going to come in and bite you. And if you're equatorial, you might get diseases. But higher-level parasites, your own species, are going to sit there and break into your house and rob you. That's why you have windows. It's why you have doors. You wear clothes because you're protecting yourself from the elements so that you're comfortable. When it's hot or it's cold, you have different wear. You're in charge. And you build devices so you know the orbit of the sun and you have control of that. And everything is about humans taking control of their environment. But instead, the globalists want to take control of you. And they tell you it's a conspiracy. No one wants to control your environment. No one's engineering you. No one wants to watch you. No one wants to control you. Now just lay down and drink fluoride. Take these shots and die. Give us the planet. Give us the technology. Roll over, please. Sleep, it's too complex. Watch your favorite show. Live through somebody else. Don't have children, or if you do, give them to us. Good. Good. Drink the Diet Coke. Good. Good. That's one article. Everything we told you for 20 plus years. And that's one article, wide document cam if we can. One article of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. All admitting world government. All admitting, oh, we're adding nanoprotective vaccines now. It's classified. Don't worry, just take it. Oh, there's cancer viruses in your vaccines. Don't worry. You see, they have to just tell you, oh, I'm going to kill you, but it's liberal. Having a mommy and daddy's bad, so there will be any mommies and daddies. It's liberal. Oh, look at Jimmy Kimmel. His child has heart defects. It isn't that they had the child earlier, had a cesarean. They won't even tell him that. Then that causes heart problems, obviously. No. We're not going to tell you it's all the vaccines you took or chemicals you ingested. We're not going to discuss the vaccines they just gave your child. Let's just say, give us free health care or our babies will die. Don't our babies deserve it? When you have state-run health care, you have medical tyranny. And when you have everyone bound under one system, they can tax you and control you and do whatever they want once there's no competition and choice. But it doesn't matter to the pseudo-intellectuals of Jimmy Kimmel. He can just get up there and say, we need national health care for my baby. It's for the children. It sounds so much easier. Now, I have hundreds of such articles here, and I have a lot of clips I want to get to, and I have a lot of things I want to cover. But first, let me get to one of the main threats threatening humanity here in just a moment. But first, most people are scared. Most people come to me and they say, Alex, how are you doing under so much mainstream media attack? And I'm like, it's wonderful. I'm being rejected and demonized and attacked by the synthetic, fake, virtual reality propaganda that is sworn to destroy humanity. And to have it rejecting me and hating me and trying to destroy me is proof that I'm doing my job right. Proof that I'm over the target. Proof that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Acceptance by this empty, hateful, global tyranny. It's like a mental delusion that you're accepted by the system, so you're in massive debt, you have a worthless degree, you're super unhealthy, you're a shuffling zombie that just submits to whatever you're told. This isn't a social compact like 5,000 years ago in some village where everybody goes out and plants corn by the river, and so we get a bigger harvest. Or everybody stands up together and goes out when the fish are coming in, so you catch more fish and can dry them and have food for 3 months. Or an enemy's about to come over the hills and try to enslave you, so you stand up and you drive off the enemy. And so under the social contract of getting together and focusing communally in a synergistic collective, you are given empowerment. That's because the social contract is real there. We have a false social contract that is designed to render us down, to dumb us down, to make us weak, to make us pathetic, to make us servile, to make us cowardly, to make us self-centered, to make us never want to have any confrontation and never want to take any risk until you walk around and you see a bunch of brainwashed millennials with dream state level low consciousness who even mainstream news admits are having early neurological disorders at like age 16 now and just rolling over and dying because their soul disconnected from them at some point because they're physically alive but spiritually dead. It isn't a sacrifice to be disconnected from this system. It is a blessing. It isn't a curse to be attacked by this system. It is an absolute verification. And those aren't words. The more I get persecuted, the more I get attacked, it means nothing because it is a pantheon, an army of liars, an army of zombies, an army of cowards, an army of no ones, totally empty in their mega mansions and their private jets, completely freaked out and scared to death and like lobotomized rats, having no future, no direction, no spirit, no connection to the prime initiative that God's given us. They're cut off from God. The whore churches, the establishment, the mainstream media, all of it are the sellouts. All of it are the followers, living on the ashes, living on the remnants of what great men and women built. Honorable people connected to God. But don't blame this new generation for why they're so fallen. They were eased into the TV within years of the television by the late 1940s implemented. Families no longer sat around the table and talked about the real world and dreams and hopes and no longer heard stories about their grandfathers and grandmothers and great-grandfathers and mothers and cousins and people that did the great strivings or those that failed. They suddenly had a new friend, the television. The radio had been a friend as well, but now there was the television their friend. And they gathered around it and made it their father, their mother, their grandmother, their grandfather, their leader. And it gave them Archie Bunker. And before that, it gave them Ralph Cramden, the Honeymooners, and taught them to be petty, taught them to be silly, taught them to be stupid. The man was a joke. The woman was in charge. And then now we see the wreckage 70 years later. Eased into our proto-matrix, the radio, the television, the cell phone, the smartphone, the Google goggles, the VR of Facebook, and then we're impregnated, implanted with that spirit, sucked in forever into their world. Now slaves, servile, captured spirits. The kings of the earth would traffic in men's souls. There would be no flesh spared lest God intervened. Only the elect, save for God's intervention, would be deceived because the delusion would be so great in marketplaces and in the temples and in the governing councils, the image of the beast worldwide, three-dimensional, 100 feet tall, marveling at the beast, marveling at all it could do, the great AI God. And its false prophet, and its physical manifestation, the devil, the Antichrist. But the great beast, seen by all, internet, computers by all, there, 100 feet tall, with all the answers, predicting the future, knowing what you want, knowing your dreams, never knowing you'd been tied into it for decades, giving it all your thoughts, telling you everything you wanted, empowering it, making it your God. As it stands there, now knowing all your secrets and everything you dream, giving you false dreams, leading you out onto a cliff's edge. But to you, it looks like a beautiful green vista. Come with me. Come with me. Here, jump with me. Jump with me. Jump over this grass. Come with me and I'll give you immortality. I'll give you power. I'll make you beautiful. Not what we've done to you here. Look how ugly you are. But if you come with me, if you step across this bridge, if you come across to me, I will fulfill you forever. Now take my hand and die forever. That's the truth of it. World government electromagnetic torture, genetic engineering, blasphemies upon blasphemies already upon us. And the whore churches say not a word, as ABC News and CBS News and CNN and MSNBC and Fox announce, of course everyone will soon have a chip. Of course you'll be raised and there'll be no more genders and no more people because you're going to be a computer. We're going to plug your mind into a system and make you a god. But in truth, you'll be a sunken heap, ready to sign a form for one more year of ecstasy before you're euthanized and uploaded to the Great Matrix. But you won't be uploaded to anything. You will be erased forever. And only your words and your likeness will be used to trick your children and grandchildren when they talk to grandma on the digital screen. And it fools them to come, because it won't just be a facsimile of your grandfather or grandmother or your father or your mother or your dead brother. It'll be an AI system with all the evil poured into its silicon circuits, with all the stolen data of 10 billion people and more in its mind, staring straight at you like Lucifer itself, ready to destroy you and have its will with you and your family forever, and destroy the great birthright that you were given as builders of this world and builders of countless more to come. In your embryonic phase, as nothing more than a larva killed here on this planet. But God foreordained that you would be warned and you would be told of the entire plan, with men having visions more than 2,000 and 3,000 years ago to warn you of the enemy attack long before it arrived. And you just brush it aside as if it's a joke, when it is an absolute space-time transmission of warning. But God steps back because you've got free will. And most of you will use your free will to ignite the destruction of your soul. God doesn't damn anybody to hell. You choose it. Wouldn't hell be with Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton forever, locked up in a dimension?